Okay, let's take a look at this translation question. Think of a translation as a slide. We aren't turning the shape or flipping it. We are just picking up the line segment AB and sliding it to a new spot on the grid to create segment CD. To figure out exactly how it moved, we just need to pick one point and see how it traveled to its new twin point. First, let's find the coordinates for our original point A and its new position, point C. Looking at the grid, start at 0, 0. Move left 4 and down 2. So, A is at -4, -2. Now back to the center, we move right 2 and stay on the line. So C is at 2, 0. Now let's calculate the horizontal slide, or how many steps did we take on the x-axis to get from -4 to 2. Start at -4, and let's count to the right -3, -2, -1, 0, 1 and 2. That is a total of 6 units. Since we moved toward the positive numbers, that's a slide to the right. Now we calculate the vertical slide, or how many steps did we take on the y-axis to get from -2 to 0. Start at -2, and let's count up, -1, 0. That is a total of 2 units. Since we moved from a negative number toward a higher number, that's a slide up. If we check point B to point D, you'll see the exact thing happens. B is at -2 and 2, and D is at 4 and 4. That's also 6 units right and 2 units up. So, T can be described as a slide of 6 units to the right and 2 units vertically up. See you in the next video. Alright, let's take a look at these translation questions. Think of a translation as just a slide. We aren't turning the shape or flipping it. We are simply sliding a point from one spot on the coordinate plane to another. To do this, we just need to remember 2 simple rules. For the horizontal slide, along the x-axis, moving right means we add to the x number, while moving left means we subtract. As for the vertical slide, along the y-axis, moving up means we add to the y number, while moving down means we subtract. For part A, the question is asking to find the image of point -2, 11, after sliding it 8 units right and 6 units down. Let's start with the x-coordinate. We start at -2. The question says move 8 units to the right, so we add 8. -2 plus 8 equals 6. Now let's move to the y-coordinate. We start at 11. The question says move 6 units downwards, so we subtract 6. 11 minus 6 is equal to 5. The new coordinates for the image is 6, 5. Let's move to part B. The question states that we started at point P, 5, 9, and ended up at Q, 8, 15. How did we get there? Let's start with the x values. So we went from an x value of 5 to an x value of 8. So let's subtract our end x value 8 from our start x value 5. 8 minus 5 is equal to 3. Since the number is positive, this means we moved 3 units to the right. Let's check the y values. We went from a y value of 9 to a y value of 15. Again, let's subtract the end y value 15 from the start y value 9. 15 minus 9 is equal to 6. Since the number is positive, this means we moved 6 units upwards. So the translation is a slide of 3 units right and 6 units upwards. For the last part, C, we are going to work backwards to find the original point. Notice that the point they started the question with is A prime. This indicates that we will move backwards to find our original point. The question says that we ended up at A prime, -3, 10, after a slide of 6 units left and 4 units down. So where did we start? Since we are working backward to find the starting point, we have to do the opposite of the slide. For our x value, the slide was 6 units left, which usually means -6. However, to go back, we add 6 to our given x value, -3. So, -3 plus 6 is equal to 3. For the y value, the slide was 4 units down, which usually means -4. Again, to go back, we add 4 to our y value, 10. So, 10 plus 4 is equal to 14. Therefore, the original point A was at 3, 14. Great work, and see you in the next video. Alright, let's take a look at this translation question. Think of a translation simply as a slide. We aren't turning the point or changing its size. We are just sliding it across the coordinate plane from one spot to another. To solve this question, we just need to compare where our point started at P to where it ended up at Q. The x-coordinate tells us how far to move left or right. The x-coordinate of P is 10, and the x-coordinate of Q is 17. To find the difference, we subtract. 17 minus 10 is equal to 7. Since the number increased, it moved from 10 to 17, we moved 7 units to the right. Next is the y-coordinate, or the vertical slide. The y-coordinate tells us how far to move up or down. The y-value of P is 9, and the y-value of Q is -10. Now this one is a bit of a longer slide. To get from 9 down to 0, that's 9 units. Then, to get from 0 down to -10, that's another 10 units. Mathematically, we look at the change. -10 minus 9 equals -19. The negative sign tells us the direction is downwards. So we moved 19 units vertically downwards. When we put it all together, the translation T is described as a slide of 7 units to the right, followed by 19 units vertically downwards. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Alright, let's take a look at this geometry question. It's all about translations, which is just another word for sliding a shape across a grid without turning it or changing its size. First, let's look at what we are starting with, the pre-image, and where we ended up. The original point P is at -1, 8. The new point, which is the image M, is at 11, 4. To find out how far we moved, we need to look at the change in our x-coordinates and y-coordinates. For the horizontal slide, which is the x value, we started at -1 and ended at 11. So, 11 minus -1 is equal to 12. So, we moved 12 units to the right. For the vertical slide, which is the y value, we started at 8 and ended at 4. So, 4 minus 8 equals -4. So, we moved 4 units down. Our translation rule is x plus 12 and y minus 4. Now for the final step. The question asks for the coordinates of point N. We know N is the image of point Q. Since every point in a translation moves the same way, we just apply our rule to Q. Original Q points are 5 and 12. Let's apply the x rule. 5 plus 12 is equal to 17. Next, apply the y rule. 12 minus 4 is equal to 8. Therefore, the coordinates of N are 17, 8. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Alright, today we are looking at geometric translations. You can think of a translation as a slide. We aren't rotating the shape or flipping it. We are simply sliding it to a new spot on the graph. To do this, we just need to change the x-coordinate, which is either moving left or right, and y-coordinate, which is either moving up or down, based on the instructions. In this, we are given a line segment MN, and told exactly how to slide I to create a new segment, XY. The rule, 1, 10 units to the left, means subtract 10 from the x-coordinates. 2, 7 units downwards means subtract 7 from the y-coordinates. Let's start with point M. The coordinates for M are 13, -7. After applying the rule, the x-coordinates will be 13 minus 10 is equal to 3, and the y-coordinates will be 7 minus -7 is equal to 14. So the coordinates for the image x is 3, -14. Let's move to the other point of the segment, which is N. The coordinates for N are 16, 8. After applying the rule, the x-coordinates will be 16 minus 10 is equal to 6, and the y-coordinates will be 8 minus 7 is equal to 1. So the coordinates for the image y is 6, 1. As you can see, we just applied the same slide to both ends of the segment. Part B is a little trickier because they don't tell us left or right directly. Instead, they show us what happened to one point, P moving to M, and ask us to apply that same rule to the second point Q. To find the rule, look at point P, 5, 7, and its image M, 7, 2. How did the numbers change? First, the change in x went from 5 to 7. That is a change of 2 units to the right, so we are adding 2. Next, the change in y went from 7 to 2. That is a change of 5 units down, so we are subtracting 5. So, our translation rule is x plus 2, and y minus 5. Now we take point Q, 0, 9, and use that same rule to find its image, n. The new x coordinates, 0 plus 2 is equal to 2. And the new y coordinates, 9 minus 5 is equal to 4. Therefore, the coordinates of n are 2, 4. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Alright, let's have a look at translations on a coordinate plane. Let's break down these 2 questions step by step, so you can see exactly how to find the new coordinates, or the image. For part A, when we talk about moving right or left, we are only changing the x-coordinate, which is the first number. The y-coordinate stays exactly the same, because we aren't moving up or down. Let's start with x. Our starting point is -5. Moving to the right means we are moving toward the positive numbers on the number line, which means we are adding. -5 plus 9 is equal to 4. Since we didn't move up or down, the y stays at 3. So the new coordinates after moving to the right are 4, 3, for part B. Now, when we move up or down, we are only changing the y-coordinate, which is the second number. The x-coordinate stays the same, because we aren't moving left or right. Since we aren't sliding sideways, so the x stays at 6. As for the y-coordinate, our starting point is at -2. Moving upward means we are going higher on the graph. That means we add. -2 plus 7 is equal to 5. So the new coordinates after moving up are 6, 5. Here is a small cheat sheet for translation. Right always mean, add to x. Left always mean, subtract from x. Up always mean, add to y. And down always mean, subtract from y. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.